Hello, Serena and Kordell, my winners. How
Hey,
are y'all doing today?
I love your wall behind you.
Thank
That's
you. Thank you. It's like an assortment of like different, Black
that
movie
the woods back
posters.
there.
Yeah, I have The
Ooh,
Wood,
that's
Love
my movie.
Jones, Moonlight, Euphoria, and
Moonlight,
this is Parasite.
Moonlight was actually slept on. I actually watched that. I'm getting distracted. Sorry.
It's
Uh,
such a good movie. Such a good movie. But I have so much to talk to you about, but so little time. And I know that you all are slowly getting reacclimated to, the world. But I want you to know like how iconic this season was. People are saying this is the best season of Love Island US. They say it's topping UK. I mean, it is like the reception of this season has been like so great. And people were just like loving every moment of it. People were locked in. So I just want you all to know that people were like definitely tuned in and watching this season. But I want to know first off, what have your first few moments looked like outside of the villa? You've gotten a chance to breathe, be out of the show space. What does that look like for both of you?
um, so far it's been pretty like chill. For the most part, we went and had some lunch and went to like the store. And then we've just been like chilling and like doing interviews and stuff. We just got our phones back
Literally. Wow.
last night. So we've only technically had it back for a few hours. So we're
Wow.
not even like that well into the social media yet. Like we're trying
Yeah.
to catch up, but
There's so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been just spending time together, going out, eating food, like she was saying, and just really just getting this nice long time like away from the cameras and just like me and her one on one and
Yeah.
also the interviews as well.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't know y'all just got your phones back. So I might be revealing some information y'all might not even know yet. So that's gonna be
Hopefully.
interesting.
maybe.
But first off, Serena, I want to ask because Black women especially have just showered you and Janae with love this season and talked about how important it was to see Black women being in the final and being so loved. Taylor Crumpton, a writer, actually wrote a piece for Time magazine and said this season made her believe in love again. And she cited you and Janae as being the reason why, because so many times reality dating shows can get into tropes surrounding Black women. And it could have easily been a situation this season where, I'm not going to name any names, but sometimes a lot of the other, contestants will refer to you as being like hyper emotional and, being, sometimes angry. And it could have devolved into a stereotype, but it didn't. And I feel like Cordell, you were instrumental in doing that because you made space for her feelings as well. So knowing that people have these strong takeaways from this season and how, your romance has made them feel, what does that mean as far as like the impact that you've made?
It's actually like insane and it makes me feel really, really good. And honestly, I'm glad that I had Cordell in there because I do feel like my experience would have been a lot different without him. Validating my feelings or not making me feel like, I don't think it was like many microaggression like comments or anything like that. But Black women do have it a little bit harder, especially when we are like loud and proud and, very expressive of our emotions, whether it's good or bad. Or like, I'm not a quiet girl. I'm not a girl that's like, shy or anything like that. So like I definitely think that will look a lot different on me versus like a Kaler.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that it was taken like well and like that people loved it. And I'm glad that my man loved it and he was not always defending me. Like, you couldn't tell him
Don't
shit.
be playing.
You can't tell him shit
Hey,
about me. And I'm like, yes.
say nobody can tell me that
Yeah.
about mine. You hear me? I'm gonna stick by thin and through. And I've been raised. I'm black, obviously. I've been raised.
Don't say.
Right? Wow. Look at nah. But I've been raised around a lot of women and a lot of, my pops and everybody, I've been raised right. And I know these things and I just know how to, I wouldn't say deal with it. It sounds bad saying deal with it, but I know how to like reciprocate those feelings and I know how it is when a woman is expressing themselves, especially like just from my mama alone. And I know it's not just like what people may seem as it taking it as aggression and just a lot of yelling. It's more of emotion and passion. That's what I took from what was going on between her situation, because I know the conversation that we had before going to Casa and then coming back to Casa, and I know how she was feeling and she was feeling hurt. And I've seen that. And she felt she was obligated to feel how she felt. And I know where I went wrong. And I wanted her to express that. And I was there to listen to it and work my way through it and fight for her and let her know, like, hey, this happened. I messed up and I want to make this right. So, didn't stop me from really fighting for her at all. And
Yeah.
I'm just appreciative of her in general, meeting her. Couldn't ask for a better person to lay my eyes on in the villa day one, just seeing her. So like it was just amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people want to know, because we didn't get to see a lot of this really until Casa, was the fact that you both exchanged rings. We did not
Yeah.
see that until Casa because it was a part of the story, it was part of the storyline. But we didn't see when they were actually exchanged in the villa. So a lot of fans just really want to know the backstory behind this, because when they came up, we're like, wow, this happened. We didn't even the audience didn't even really know that.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember when we did it, but
So we did it after when she was sitting there and I had to choose, it was her and Hannah standing there.
Oh.
And that's when it all started. That's when it all started. That's when everything just got more deep, more passionate between us. And we was just sitting there at the fire pit. I had my ring on. She had her rings on, and I seen one and I was like, hey, that looks cool. And I said, I got one. And I wanna exchange it with like meaningfully. Like I'm joking around, I always joke around, but like I want it to be like a special moment between the two of us to know, like, hey, like I'm really feeling you. I like you and I want you to have a piece of me. And I have a piece of you, and and
yeah, and
see
we
how
both
far
love
this goes. And
jewelry,
yeah, we love jury.
and like fashion and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cute. And like we would like somehow always kind of incorporate it into our outfits.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And then yeah, Casa, I was like, I have to wear this the whole time. I mean, obviously I took that thing off.
She did. She did. But
But
I
still got it.
appreciate
I
Yeah.
hope you both know that the scene on the dock has been recreated so many times on TikTok. People are saying that
Yeah.
it's Serena, people are saying that you have a monologue that needs to be taught in acting in acting classes, and how it needs to be Emmy nominated. So that's definitely one of the
I
standout
didn't know
moments
it.
of this season. I guess there are so many people on TikTok that are recreating like it didn't mean shit. Like so many people are saying that like over and over on TikTok. So it's definitely viral. But another viral moment I have to ask about is Kordell. I think this was one of the only times during the season at which I was talking back to the TV, was when you decided to take two plates of breakfast upstairs. And in my mind, I'm like,
What is
what
he doing?
is happening? What is happening? So I just want to know your logic in that moment. And and you thought like, okay, this will be a good idea.
No, it's funny. I did think it was a good idea. Miguel, he was like, don't do that. That's not a good idea. And I was like, well, I've been making breakfast for Serena. Like I've always made breakfast for her since day one, every day. And I decided to make breakfast for Daya too. And they happened to be in the same room. So I was like, well, let me go bring them both the breakfast.
I don't know if y'all
Not as
remember
good as I thought.
my comment when I was like, if he's making another girl breakfast, I'm gonna throw his little ass in the fire pit.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, there's no way he's making her breakfast and about to bring it to her in front of me. And I was about to tell him, I was like, nope, don't bring that over here.
Yeah.
Nope, nope. And he's still
Yeah, I don't know what
like,
I was thinking. That was probably the
He was
dumbest
you were
I
so
did.
confident too. You were so confident.
I was like, yeah, I got this breakfast for both of them, and I'm gonna bring it to them. Don't know how I did that at all. But you live and you learn.
Yeah.
You live
At
and you
least
learn.
it all worked out in the end. And
That's so funny.
Serena, a lot of people are also saying one reason why they think this season worked is because the women on the show were so fiercely loyal to one another. Especially, you and Leah and JaNa, of course, but also just like the women in general. You have Liv and Nicole. And I honestly felt like during like the Casa recoupling scene, like it was like y'all were tag teaming each other. Like anytime one of the guys came back with a new girl, like it was like y'all were like tagging each other in the ring and everybody was like just like going at it. Did you expect to make so many close friendships during the season? Do you think that enhanced the experience?
100%. And especially because like I would watch Love Island, and it's not really often where you see all of the girls get along like that and like there really not be any like big beef. Obviously, we're in a house, it's a bunch of women, you're gonna have like a little moments where you bicker, but like we resolved it so fast and it was always like we went right back to where we were. So I didn't expect me to love everybody so much or create a bond like PPG. So that was just amazing. And it definitely made my experience even better. Like I probably would have gone home without PPG. I would have been like, I don't know, I can't take this.
Yeah, yeah. And also I want to know that it's interesting for fans to see this. I think it was one of the public votes. I don't know if it was, I think it was Kordell. One of you were kind of surprised when you were named one of the top couples by America. I think Kordell, you said something along the lines, oh, America still rock with us. And it was kind of surprising as viewers because in our minds, you were the front runners from like, even despite Casa and everything, viewers so heavily gravitated toward you all. So I want to know, like, what were you all thinking during these moments? And maybe like what was even the sentiment in the house where there was even an environment where you would have even thought that like there was a chance that America wasn't vibing with y'all?
We were we've had our ups and downs. Like we didn't have like a smooth sailing journey as like some of the other islanders. So it's either like you hate it or you love it, and we just didn't know which it was. And we were a little, crazy. I was a little dramatic. I didn't even know how the doc scene was gonna be taken. I'm like, after I did it, I'm like, damn, that felt like a Tyler Perry movie. Like I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, they're gonna eat me alive. So I was like, they probably don't like this. And then we got back together, and I'm like, we're probably doing way too much for
straight out the
America.
theater.
But it's exactly how it would be on the outside.
They probably thought we was gonna bust out singing or something.
Like, they're
They
like,
were
where's
ready
the
to
musical scene?
make out.
And
Yeah.
I had a few fan questions. I tweeted on my social media fan questions. So I got like hundreds of responses. But one common theme was the fact that a lot of fans want you both to know that your couple and ship name from day one has been Cordina. They said they don't know who Corina is, but they said we don't know who they are.
Oh, tell me.
Damn.
Okay.
They're
We were
like,
inside. We didn't know.
What
they're
we
like,
got
y'all are
going on? They
Cordina.
said Cordina. I like that. I ain't
That
mad
was the
at it.
main thing that people want the flag. And the second flag was Serena. So many people have questions about your braid maintenance within the house and all the different styles and how it still looked good from top to bottom. People are just so interested and they want to know the magic behind it.
So I actually do hair. I've done hair for a long time. I started maybe my freshman year of college, or like 2018, I started braiding. And then, yeah, so I just knew how to touch up my own braids and keep them looking fresh. And the key is like switching this up the style. So, you hide maybe a little fuzzy or whatever.
It was given very versatile. It was given very versatile. But thank you both so much for chatting with me. I wish we had more time. It's so much to go over, but just know that you all are so beloved by the fans, and it was a great season, and it was really due in part mostly to you both. So thank you so much for chatting with me, and I can't wait to see what's next from you both.
Thank you
Thank you. It
so
was an honor
much.
chatting with
Thank
you.
you. Hi, Janae and Kenny. How are y'all doing today?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to chat with you both about this season. First off, I just have to say, I know you all are just slowly getting back into the real world and swing of things, but I just want to reiterate that like this season was so iconic. People are calling it the best season of Love Island USA. Some of them say it's one of the best Love Island seasons, like period. Like it's really going that viral. And a lot of that is due to like, fan favorites like the both of you. So I just want to just go ahead and state for the record that this season is just so iconic.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yes. So Janae, I'll start with you first. And I'm gonna go back a little bit earlier in the season.
Mhm.
during the dumping and the girls decided to choose Andrea, and how in that moment you were saying, I think you were beside Nicole and you were saying that like it was clear that when the guys were so bothered that the girls decided to choose you, you said it's clear that they were talking about you. So how does that feel to go from that moment to making it as a finalist and like overcoming like so many so much adversity, so many incompatible incompatible pairings to be at this
Taking
role
somebody else.
to be at this role
Yeah,
and
who
also
else?
and also, Kenny,
No,
how was it being able to be in that moment with her and be that person to immediately come in and like you hit it off?
yeah, I think that was one of the most uncomfortable nights and the days after that, leading up or after that, was just the worst because the boys were like brothers to me at that point. So the fact that they didn't have the balls to say it was me, we knew they were talking about me.
Yeah.
And then Rob told him to like, Jay, I'm really sorry, but like, I feel like if anyone should have gone home, it was you. It sucked. It sucked more because they didn't see it from the girl's perspective. Andrea was very like closed off to Rob, and it would have been hard for anyone to turn her head. Whereas me and Nicole were open to get to know new Islanders, so it wouldn't have been fair to the new Islanders coming in if Andrea was closed off. That's one less person that gets to explore, you know? So the boys didn't really catch on to that. They started to call it Friend Island, which didn't make sense because Rob and Aaron were
Yeah,
best.
yeah, yeah.
And Aaron was talking about he wants to go home if Rob was going home that night. I'm like, but it's not gonna go. So that's a weird point. But
Yeah.
it sucked. Eventually we got back to like, brothers and sisters, but I never felt so uncomfortable in that villa until that moment. It was like uncomfortable is a word I can say. I'm walking down the hall, it's awkward silence with the guys. I'm
Mhm.
making smoothies for them, trying to be their friends again, knowing that didn't work. But when I tell you I'm so grateful for my girls, because if it wasn't for them saving me, I would have never met Kenny. And I was just like, I'm just so grateful. I'm like, they saw that Janae, you keep on being open and you're trying your best. We're rooting for you. Don't give up, you know? And it was the fact that they just saw me putting my heart on my sleeve every guy I got coupled up with. So I was just like, if any of y'all need a kidney, I got y'all. That's how grateful I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was surprising 'cause she took a lot of L's. Like, let's be honest. Like,
Track record was not looking
it
good.
was, and so I was starting to think like, what did they not show? Like, she seemed like an amazing woman.
Yeah.
Like, on the like everything that I'm watching, I'm starting to think like maybe there's like a flaw, and so I thought she would be a little bit more reserved when I came in as a bombshell, just considering that she had, been dumped. Like she was the second option sometimes. And but like to her credit, she just stayed true to herself.
But I just hope that, it was likely unfortunate if there was any point that you thought that America wasn't vibing with you because America was on your inside the entire time. Like even there the entire that scene, like it was frustrating as a viewer to not see why the boys were not understanding why you got saved by them, by the girls. And I've been reading a lot that a lot of people believe that the fierce loyalty that the women had within the show is kind of what really made the season because time and time again you see that may not always be the circumstance. And in this situation, like even during the Casa recoupling, like every time a guy would come out with a new girl, like it was like I told Serena, I was like, y'all were like tag teaming each other. Like every time a guy would come out, like everybody would just all the girls would just like pounce on them immediately. So I think that it's so great that the women, even like you, Leah and Serena, as far as like PPG, and then but even like Kayla and the OG girls and Liv, everyone seemed to have this tight bond. So did you think that you would be so close and develop these friendships like this within the show?
It's so crazy? Like, I know we're telling ourselves there's a possibility that we'll be in this villa for like 6 weeks, but you think you're going in there for like love, which was the goal, you know? What you forget is that you're gonna build bonds. When I tell you my sisterhood with Leah and Serena is so real, like I've never been so grateful for a group. We would argue at times that you didn't see, and they'd put me in my place, and I would just be so frustrated. And the next day, we had a heart to heart, and we're stronger than ever. Like we literally fought like sisters. loved like sisters. And if you would have told me that's what I would have gotten out of this, like that and Kenny, I'd be like, you're lying. Like, I'm not gonna have those girls. No, we already have our group chat, PPG. You know, the second we got our hair, we got our phones. That's the first thing I did. And I just never been so grateful for a group of girls. Like, they had my back when I was heartbroken and sad, when I'm at the 5 pit crying, you know, the days I was happy, they're there. Like, when I was happy, they're happy. When she was sad, we were sad. Like, it was just like we shared so many emotions. It was the craziest thing of it all. And like, and we were grocery shopping the other day together, and like the people that came up to us, like, you guys are like the Holy Trinity. We're like, really?
Yes, yes.
That's what
That's
we
what the
learned.
fans say. That's what the fans say.
That's insane. And then there's like little remix of the Powerpuff Girls. I'm just like,
Yeah.
the fact that they saw our love, like our love is strong. The fact that you guys saw it made us feel even more just like special. It was so crazy how that went. But yeah, those two girls, I'm so serious. I would have been home if it wasn't for them. After class of more, like, I'm leaving, call me an Uber, and these girls are like pulling me back. Like, I'm leaving the villa. They're like, Janae, stop. Like, think about it, sleep on it. But yeah, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have lasted long for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I put out a call for questions from fans, and I got so many responses, but most of them just wanted you both to know how beloved and loved that you are. That was the main response I got. But people asked the most about Janae. You speaking Spanish during the finale. People want to know, one, how fluent you are, your decision to do that, and also Kenny, what was your reaction to hear her being a multilingual queen in that moment? That's what fans want to know the most.
No, mi español es muy mal. Yo necesito practicar.
Oh.
Yes, es más o menos, pero like, yo lo puedo. I can do a little bit. Yeah.
She understands the majority of like what I say, and she's
Mm,
I can understand more than I can speak. So okay, I'm still
nice.
taking private classes, but I will be fluent by the end of this year for sure.
I mean, my jaw dropped when she said that in the speech. I had no clue that was happening. And the fact that like no one else understands, no one else speaks it there, none of the couples do. Like
Yeah.
she was just speaking to me, speaking from the heart, and like, talking about how much she appreciates me. Like that was special. That got me a little emotional.
Yeah, because everyone was wondering, like, they were like, okay, if Janae speaks Spanish, then why couldn't she translate what Daniela and Aaron were saying?
I did. I literally said, just letting you know. Yes, I hate. See, that's the thing. Like, we haven't watched it yet, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But like he was saying something, I told her like just letting you know, he's saying something along the lines like he doesn't want to hurt
Oop.
someone, like he wants to do something, and then he asked her like if she understood, and she's
Yeah.
like, and I couldn't hear her response, like I really couldn't
Mm.
hear it, but I was like, if my Spanish is right, it's giving. He doesn't want to hurt you, but he wants to do something right now. He wants to kiss you and stuff. And she's just like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I'm sure that's what he said, but let's get Ignacio," which was like one
Yeah.
of our customers. Well, let's get him to confirm. So when he translated, I was like, oh, nailed it. And I
Yeah,
felt really bad.
you're like, it's pretty
Like,
accurate.
I could be wrong, but I think he doesn't want to hurt your feelings. He wants to get to go. And so Iggy's like, you got it. And I'm like, I'm not proud that I got it this time,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't air everything. So I'm just
Mhm.
like, I translated it with pride. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I hate to be right, but I think I'm right.
Yes. And last, I just want to talk for a moment about the fact that like the representation that you and Serena brought this season. There was actually an article in Time magazine from a writer named Taylor Crumpton, and she said this season made her believe in love again. And it was because of the way that your storyline and Serena's were handled on this season, because a lot of times the stories of Black women on reality dating shows, particularly dark-skinned Black women, they really don't go that way. It ends up becoming like devolving into stereotypes and just not being a good experience. But the fact that it was such a great season, and clearly, even though you didn't win, you won something from it, but it was clearly a great experience, and it's just resonated with so many fans, specifically for this representation that it provided. So what does it mean? I know you're just taking everything in now, but what does it mean to potentially be this beacon of representation and to show differences in how what happens when it's done right versus kind of the other shows that have portrayed Black women differently?
Yeah, it's so crazy. I'm so grateful because when I got my phone, the way they're like making us the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, yeah.
I was honored. I was like, I will be that beautiful chocolate queen if I need them to be. And like the comments of like, beautiful chocolate girl. I'm like, all Black women are beautiful. You know, there's the whole light skin versus dark skin, which breaks my heart. I just really don't understand that, but I will take pride in representing us well. Me and Serena literally had a heart to heart before Kenny came in, and she's like, I just don't think it's fair that, you know, the Black girls don't get enough fair chance. Like every islander that came in, we were not their top pick. And we just
Yeah.
automatically said, maybe because we were Black girls and like, you
Yeah.
know, the dark skin Black girls. And it sucked. I'm like, Serena, we know what we bring to the table. We're great personalities. A guy's gonna come in for us. So that's when we manifested what we wanted. And that's when I manifested Kenny. But like, I'm not gonna hold you. When I was in the bottom for a quick second, I'm like, there's no way America doesn't like. I know Black America had to ride for me, but maybe because I'm a dark skin of Black America, maybe like, you feel me? And you saw the Casa-More lineup, beautiful, beautiful. These are each other like, damn, like Love Island did their big one with this, like every single Casa girl made sure to like, you girls are gorgeous, you guys are stunning, like they expressed love and like you guys are beautiful, and it felt good. But yeah, I think the most thing I'm grateful about is the fact that the viewers are like, this is a beautiful love story, and like you guys compliment each other, and like there's no hate towards the skin color. It's all love and support, and I love that more than anything. That's why I was like, I won. Even though I didn't win, and the fact that Serena won, we were like, yeah, run that. So yeah, either way we won, and I
Yeah.
love the support from all communities.
Yes, and lastly, I just want to note that there's this particular TikTok sound when Kenny you're like teasing him to say I want you, I need you. That is so viral on TikTok. People are lip syncing that and reposting it, and there's like thousands and thousands of videos. A lot of people probably found out about Love Island by watching those edits of that. So that's
Crazy.
just an example of the impact that y'all had of the season.
That's
Damn, Soul Ties is
crazy.
crazy.
Sometimes it's crazy.
That's a special spot right there.
Yes. Well, thank you both so much for chatting with me. I can't wait to share this conversation. I hope you both enjoy the rest of your day.
It was so nice talking
So
to
nice
you.
to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
So
Nice
nice
to
to
meet
meet you.
you. Well, hi, Miguel. I hope you are doing amazing today, and congratulations on being second place in
Thank you very
Love
much,
Island
man.
USA.
Crazy. It's crazy, bro. Thank you.
It is. It is. First question I want to ask is, did you expect your Love Island USA experience to be what it was? I mean, no shade to the other guys that came in, but clearly you were the bombshell that had the most impact. I mean, honestly, either a guy or a girl, you kind of made the biggest splash, clearly, as you were the only non-OG to even be in the finale. So was everything and how it ended up, was it anything like you ever thought it would be when you first entered the villa?
Not at all. Not at all. I really went with zero expectations. My main objective was just to enjoy the experience and just take things by day and see how it goes. Um, Knowing how I am in the outside world, like I've like I said, I have my guard up quite a lot when it comes to relationships. It was very unintentional, but that was something I had always had in the back of my head. Something I kind of learned inside the villa. I didn't really expect to, find a strong relationship, let alone get towards the final four, let alone make it to the final two. Um, However, I'm so grateful for everything that happened because I ended up meeting someone that really I find incredible in and out. Someone that I definitely do want to get to know in the outside world. Um, Someone I just vibe with. So I definitely left with way more than I ever expected.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that, it seemed that there was a lot of shock, not only from you, but some of the other, people inside the villa when not only when you made top two, but even making it to the finale, it seemed like when it came into that last spot, even though it was in no particular order, it seemed that like there were a lot of people who may have thought that it may be Aaron and Kayla. So I wanted to know, like, what do you think? What do you and Leah both think of your chances, and what was the sentiment inside of the villa? Because in the eyes of viewers, like y'all were kind of a shoe-in to be in the finale, but it seemed like that was not really the perception for both of you and for everyone else.
I mean, it was definitely a shock. As the numbers started to dwindle, I literally whispered in Leah's ear and I said, whatever happens moving forward, I'm really happy that I got to know you and I got to go through this experience with you. And when we got placed in front of the fire pit and we was waiting, I was very content with the idea that, okay, I may be getting sent home right now, but I'm definitely going to be hitting this girl up when I'm outside. and then we get hit with our names get called out, and I don't know if it was shown on camera, but I literally had a moment where I just stared at the fire pit, and it wasn't until Leah jumped in front of me, like screaming, I was like, "Oh shit, that's our name!"
Yeah, yeah.
That like, okay, we made it. What the fuck? And I looked over to Aaron. I'm like, I just went, "Yo, what the fuck?" I was just in utter shock, only because they had already established that they were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Hmm.
And I felt like that was something that people were gonna like
Yeah.
gravitate towards, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I
Like
mean,
establish
you two were the only couple that wasn't technically closed off that,
exactly.
made it that far.
Exactly. Like that's why I was like, everyone was so vocal about how they felt towards their partners, and everyone like was either, like you said, closed off, boyfriend, girlfriend, and told each other that they loved each other. Me and Leah, we always kept things internal. Um, I think she was doing that more for me as well, which I really respect because she knows the pace I move at, and she knows that I can kind of I can get nervous when it comes to these things, I guess. I can like have my guard up. Um, but me, like she and I always knew how we felt towards each other. Like I always told her, like, I think you're an incredible human. I definitely want to get to know you. I think you're a very rare breed when it comes to your soul. Like I do think she's an incredible soul in and out. Um, and I stood by everything I said, whatever happened outside, I want to maintain what we've created within here because I think what me and her have is such a rarity. And I'm mad grateful for it. And as the days went on, me and her just got closer and closer and way more than even I expected. I was actually looking at it some days, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this girl's actually like, she's she's making me feel something. I don't know what that something is, but she's making me feel something and it's feeling good. So yeah, I think it was a mad shock for us, but overall we understood very well why we made it as far as we did.
Yeah.
Because I think what me and her had, even though it wasn't as vocal, you could see it. Like me and her
Yeah.
value each other so well.
Definitely, definitely. And in lieu of Leah being here, I do want to pose a question about movie night because I felt like during movie night, it did seem that Leah got a lot of criticism, particularly from the men, about the scene in which she spoke about Rob. And it was so interesting for fans to see that because a lot of fans really thought that, it was kind of being overblown in that scene, but
Mhm.
it seemed that she was getting held to the fire for some of the comments that she made, even though that in the viewer's eyes, a lot of people are like, okay, well, that's to be expected because she was dumped essentially, and she had to
Yeah.
recouple. So I want to know, were there any conversations that you all had about that moment, or did you all have any conversations about kind of like the villa's perception of her prior coupling with Rob that may have impacted the way that both of you move forward?
For me, I still don't entirely know what happened between Rob and Leah, besides the fact that he was indecisive about two women. However, visually it seemed like he was already leaning towards one side, which was Andrea.
Hmm.
And obviously Leah had every right to be frustrated at that because you're saying, I think this is a phrase that got thrown around quite a bit, but I'm feeling 50-50. I'm not too
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And but when you're saying 50-50, but you're moving 80-20, you know what I'm saying? And it's obvious that can really weigh on you and you feel a type of way. So I think looking back at it, Leah had every right to feel the way she did. The only thing that threw me off is that I think this is something that has put me off relationships in general. I grew up in quite like a emotionally hostile environment when it came to love. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, Not gonna name names, but like the people I grew up with, like I love them to pieces. They're my biggest role models. But when it came to their relationship, it was uh very off-putting to see from the outside, and it was
Yeah.
very toxic to live within. And certain traits that I saw in the video reminded me of a certain someone um, that and certain emotions that I tend to avoid when it comes to relationships. So it definitely threw me off quite badly. Like I remember sitting down that day thinking like, yo, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what? Like this girl that I'm making a really strong connection with, she's now showing traits that I tend to run away from. And it's just like, it definitely made me feel a type of way. And I got scared. I got nervous. Like I was just in a bit of a spiral, and then I had to sit down to myself, and just say like, the only thing I can do right now is be honest about how I feel. And that's the only way I can progress. And how she reacts will let me know whether it's worth sticking around for.
Yeah.
And I remember I sat down with her and I told her the truth. I said, you know, the traits that I saw in the video, the traits that I tend to run away from and avoid when it comes to relationships, it kind of triggered a past that I grew up with. And it was scary to watch. However, with all that being said, the person I've been getting to know is so much more than what I saw in that video. And I really am starting to like the person that I'm getting to know. I definitely think things could be handled different. I don't understand entirely what happened between you and Rob, but I just need to let you know that. And I can't promise, you know, what will happen on the outside, whether we become boyfriend and girlfriend, whether we just stay friends or whatever it be. But I do really like what we've created and I don't want to let that go. So I said, with that being said, are you still happy to recouple with me? And she understood everything completely. And one thing I really respect about her is her ability to reflect on everything that she does and how much she's willing to work on all of her shortcomings. Like no human is perfect.
Yeah.
We all have our flaws, we all have our downfalls, you know what I'm saying? We all have our shortcomings. But what makes a greater human are the ones that are willing to reflect on their shortcomings and try and work on that to become a better person. And that's something that she is very much. She's someone that is so reflective, so hardworking, and like just continuously wants to work better on herself. And like the attraction just shot up again. Like that one conversation is all I needed to be like, okay, yeah, like I ain't got much to worry about.
Yeah, yeah. And I asked fans for questions, and one question that came up a lot is the fact that Liv did an interview about a week or so ago, and she mentioned a scene that I think that we didn't see on the show. And she described it as a scene in which you and Leah had a conversation, and then you made her a smoothie. And we didn't see this scene, but a lot of fans really want this context to know kind of like some of the dynamic that was in your relationship that we may not have seen. Specifically, like so many questions people asking, like, what about the smoothie? What about the smoothie? What happened? What happened? Can you add a little, do you remember that, or you can add a little bit of context to that?
I think my memory is terrible. I do apologize for that. I definitely said that was one of my red flags going into the villa. But I believe she's talking about the night, I think it was 2 nights after, or the night after we had come back from Casa.
Okay.
One thing I would always do, because I can be a bit of an airhead and I can be very blunt sometimes, I would always relay like I would always use me and her's relationship as like an analogy. And sometimes that wasn't always the best thing to do. And I just was oblivious to that. And I would just, you know, because what I was saying is what it is, it doesn't always sound good hearing it from the other side. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, it's just like, so what am I just like, she basically put it to me like even though what I'm saying may be true, it doesn't sound good hearing it. You know what I'm saying? It sounds
Mhm.
like I'm being inconsiderate to how she's feeling. And the moment she said that, I was like, fuck, you're right. Like, I don't actually remember what it was exactly, but I just remember it was like something like, you're saying all of this, but I mean, look at me and Leah, for instance. Me and her, like, we're still closed off, and she's allowing me to get to know other people, and I'm allowing her to get up to know other people. But Liv is there hearing that she's like, okay, just because you said that you want to get down to get to know other
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
Leah still wants to get to know just you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're making it seem like you don't really give a fuck about that. And I was like, fuck, no, you're right. That was a dick thing to do. So I took her up. I took her up to Soul Ties, and I let her know like I'm pretty sure this is the conversation that Liv is talking about. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just let her know like
Makes sense.
I apologize. Like first and foremost, like I just want to let you know like I don't see what we have as a joke. Um, I know I can be really blunt and airheaded at times, and I know I can seem like I don't care, but genuinely I do care about you. I do care if you recouple with someone else. I do care if you was to just end things with me right now. I care very much about how you feel and your emotions. And I do treasure what me and you have developed. And you know, I know I can be like very dumb at times, but I just want you to know that I really do respect everything that you want. I do want to like see how far this will go.
Yeah.
It was just like me just apologizing for, you know, I guess being a bit inconsiderate to how she may have felt at times.
Mhm.
And yeah, she understood that really quick. Like she's a very understanding person. I feel like the one thing she treasures most is transparency.
Yeah.
Um, and as long as I'm transparent with her, I feel like or I think that's one thing that she liked about me is that I would always keep it like very truthful to her. I never really beat around the bush, even with how I was feeling. Sometimes I'd let her know, like, I'm not gonna lie, this has been hard for me to say just because of the way I grew up. Like, but I do care for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, what do you think the future looks like for you both? What does dating look like? Do you think you'll be in LA a bit? Do you think there will be like some adventures across the pond? People really want to know what that may look like going forward.
Yeah, I've already decided I'm gonna go straight to LA after this. Definitely gonna go straight there. I want to spend like 2 months there or something at least. Just kick it with her, see her side of LA. She definitely wants to show me around.
Yeah.
I'm very much a tourist when it comes to America, so I'm looking forward to seeing Leah's version of LA. And yeah, we've even spoken about her coming over to the UK. She wants to see my side of London. I'm
Mhm.
definitely down to give her the Miguel tour, um, and just show her around. So there's definitely talks of us like linking up. She wants to show me to her farm and stuff, which I'm so looking forward to. She wants to show me to her horses, which I'm absolutely honored by because I know that's not something that she does with any person. So
Mhm.
I definitely took that as an honor, and I'm mad grateful for it. But yeah, we definitely have talks of, we want to go Disney World, we want to do little dates like that. I know Kordell and Serena as well. We want to all link up and do a little double date thing. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good for all of us. Me and Leah specifically. So there's definitely some things to look forward to. We're definitely gonna be making some content. There'll definitely be some day in the lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's in store for us outside.
Awesome, awesome. That sounds great. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. I really enjoyed it. And just so you know, this season it went viral, like it's everywhere. Everyone is talking about. People say this is the best season of Love Island USA, possibly Love Island period. It's one of the tops. But
Wow.
congratulations on like making it so far and the success of the season, and just continue to take it all in.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. For
Awesome.
real.
First off, before I begin, I just want you to know, I know you all are just like really just getting back into the swing of things in the real world, of course, but just know that this season went viral. Like so many people are talking about it. Like people are calling it like the best season of Love Island USA. Like this is the season that Love Island USA like really broke through to mainstream consciousness. Like so many things are going viral on TikTok. Like people saying that it kind of gagged you Love Island UK this season. That's how good it is. So I just want you all to know that people are just really, really talking about this season. And of course, that's because of you all, and some of the great moments that we had throughout the season. But first off, I want to start off with taking it back a little bit because I think that the sticker twist game seemed to be maybe a monumental slash defining moment within your time on the show. It seemed like from that moment on, even though like, there was one person who stuck, one person who twisted, it seemed moving forward from this, you both kind of seemed locked in more than before. So I just wanted to go over like what was going through both of your minds at that time, and do you think you both look at that moment differently in retrospect?
You can start on this one since you twisted.
Okay, I figured. Um, damn. Yeah, that I kind of sometimes I forget about that moment. It's not in any other way, but the fact that we've had so many moments in here, but that was a defining moment because I feel like in that moment it was a sort of a situation where I was like, yeah, like twisting. It means that we're still open. We haven't locked things in. So that's why I felt like that was the right call on my end. But then after, so not seeing Nicole on the other side, no, seeing Nicole in the dancing circle, I remember just being so like took aback. I was like, oh, I was like excited. Like she feels this way, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm twisting currently, and I was like nervous after. So I was like, when I'm nervous, I like laugh, and so I think. So, I mean, I don't think I know she saw me on the other side of the bench laughing, and she was like, "Why is he happy? Why is he happy?" So
I was pissed.
but it for sure, like after that, I think it gave me a lot of clarity, and then we had a conversation about where I was at. So I feel like we were pretty dialed in after that.
Yeah, I think well, I asked Kendall why, and he was like, maybe like misunderstood the rules a little bit, which at that time I was like, that's a cop out.
Yeah.
But this guy like isn't the best listener.
Not
If
the
he
best
doesn't
listener.
listen, like there's been other like games and challenges you like kind of miss
Yep.
the point a little bit.
I
But
have.
I think why it brought us closer was like we had to talk about it. Like we had to like hear each other out. And I just told him like I'll believe you until you give me a reason not to. So, you know, if you want to stick with me now, then let's see where this can go. But
Yes, I'm sticking. I'm not twisting. I'm
Mhm.
sticking.
I like, well, you're the one who twisted. I'm a little petty with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. So I want to talk about the finale, which of course just aired last night. I want to know what were both of your feelings leading into the finale, and that last date? Because we did hear the L word and we saw how that panned out, of course. And I'm interested to know for both of you, was winning a huge priority considering even in just that last episode, I feel like you both made so many inroads within your relationship. And it seemed as if when you both were called, fourth place, it seemed that you were probably at peace and happy even in that moment, despite not even winning, and seeing the journey that you all took so quickly in that episode. Compared with the rest of the season. So I just want to know what were your feelings like from that date from both of you, and then also just like going into the finale and being in that moment. And even though you didn't win, just knowing that you all had come so far leading to that point.
Yeah, I think it's just funny because like this is now being on the outside and maybe seeing how things could be portrayed. For me at least, I think we had such a long journey in the villa, and like we do have like really deep feelings for each other, like those are real. And what's that saying, like at the end you start thinking about the beginning? Like I feel like we just got really emotional. And
Yeah.
when I have a time opening up than Kendall, I would say. So when Kendall's open with me, it kind of gives me this safe space to like do the same, as much as it scares the shit out of me. But yeah, and I think like making it to the final four, I was nervous for a lot of things, but that night I wasn't nervous. I was just excited that I got to share that experience with Kendall as well as like the fellow Islanders who were among us. And to be honest, I think most of us thought this way. Like we kind of forgot there was going to be a winner, and I was happy with whatever couple it was. I think we're all like had a special connection, and like we're different in our own ways. Um, and I mean, as cliche as it sounds, like I feel like a winner because I found something with Kendall, and I'm so happy I did.
I feel the same way. Like in that moment, being on the stage with the other three couples, like did not matter what place we got because I didn't come here to win. Like none of the boys, especially, I feel like felt the same way. Like we just wanted to find someone. I had a lot of deep chats with Cordell just about our journey throughout this, and it was funny the last day when we were just chatting about there actually is someone that's going to win this. Cordell and I were looking at each other and say, "Hey, we already won. Like we got the girls we came here for. We found the connection, and that's why we just couldn't stop talking about the outside because just so much to look forward to." So I'd say that was the sentiment.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like there were two like super iconic moments from this season. One was the episode with the Casa recoupling, of course. Then another one was movie night. And I will say, Kendall, you did get held to the fire a few times this season. One in specific was Serena when she called you out for encouraging certain behaviors within Casa. And when you returned, kind of, being encouraging of the former couples, but also, being encouraging of the bonds made in Casa. When looking back on that, do you see where, whether it was Serena or whether that was Kayla, where they were coming from in that moment? And also, do you regret sort of, I guess, encouraging, Aaron and or Kordell surrounding those Casa relationships?
100%. That is my biggest regret leaving the villa was how I acted in Casa. So I'd say getting caught up in the moment, like seeing how my guys were in that Casa experience and thinking that this is what we just have to do and seeing them progress with these girls in Casa and me just encouraging that because I saw them happy was just kind of my initial instinct, but I should have thought more about it, about the girls back home and how to go about the Casa experience and be respectful. There's one way of going at it and getting to know the girls, but there's another thing of like taking it to a deeper level. And I think that's what it was taken to. And the fact that I was encouraging that behavior wasn't like in my character at all, looking back at it. So I 100% see where Serena and Kayla were coming from, how hurt they were when I came back, because of how much I've supported them through thick and thin. And I learned so much about myself, like leaving this experience, and that you can't like please everyone. Like you can't please everyone, and you can't be like just friendly to everybody. You have to be honest, and if that means hurting one person's feelings because you're honest with them, you just have to be that way. And I felt like I got caught up in just trying to make sure everyone was happy, and then it came across as, hey, like you told me I was supposed to be happy, but on the other end, you're telling that same person. So that's why I was like, Kendall, you're a dodo for doing that.
And I told Kendall this, like, just had the closest relationship with the girls over any of the guys. And he like loves giving advice. All the girls came to him for advice. The Casa girls knew how good he was at giving advice. So then they're coming to him and friendly and like trying to give everyone advice. It's going to hurt, especially Serena and Kayla. Yeah. And I think I saw Serena and Kayla's side because I was like literally holding them while they're crying. And like no bad intentions, but I think definitely a learning lesson, seeing 100%. That like how hurtful words can be, and like
100%.
Trying to, it's hard though. It's hard when you're there, and I think they got shipped off to Casa and you guys weren't present, and yeah,
Casa sucked.
And so,
Casa,
yes. And speaking of Kayla and Aaron, I'm interested to know just in general, because we see a little bit of it on the show, but we don't see the full story. So I'm interested to know, what was the perception in the house surrounding Kayla and Aaron and what happened at Casa? Because, you know, even when the final couples were announced, it seemed that a lot of people, including Leah and Miguel, were even shocked that, you know, it wasn't Aaron and Kayla. I remember, Kendall, you even said you were gutted. Like it felt like a lot of people really thought that they were going to make it through. But it was interesting in the eyes of fans, because most of the fans saw the final four couples that we saw kind of seem like the ones that would make it to the end. So I'm interested to know, like, maybe the perception, or maybe something that we didn't see potentially on screen about Kayla and Aaron's relationship that made you all within the villa think their perception might be different.
I think it's the fact that like in the villa, we're just with each other 24 hours a day, and they're not going to show all those 24 hours. Like Kayla and Aaron truly do have such a special bond, and they were like this the whole time, like laughing, giggly, obviously not after Casa. I think there like they chatted a lot, they yelled a lot, but they got over it. And because they had just been in there from the beginning, like we all thought I thought they were going to be in the final four, but I always told Kayla, like, whatever she wants to do, I'm going to have her back as her friend, because at the end of the day, it's her decision whether she wants to be with him or not. And I think it's one of those things you kind of just have to stay true to yourself and follow your heart. And it's shitty. I don't know. No, what do you think?
I agree. I don't know. I walked in here with Kayla and Aaron, and I saw them from the jump and how strong they were from literally day one, seeing Kayla like legit skip to Aaron when they had to pick their first. Saw it like firsthand in front of me from the day one. So I feel like I just kind of had that mindset early on that Kayla and Aaron 100% are going to go all the way. And that's why, Aaron, especially how close I am with Aaron in here. Like we've had so many chats throughout our experience here, just trying to maneuver the best way we can, and seeing him get sent home in that moment was gutting, because he's my guy in there, and Kayla as well, seeing her from the start. So I thought it was more a shock, and if it was the same way, like if it was Leah, Miguel, or
Jana and Kenny,
or anyone, it would have been the same reaction, because like we're all such in strong relationships at that point.
Yeah. I don't know if you all have seen it yet, but I feel like the most viral moment from this season is probably a 20-second cut on TikTok of Kayla just saying, fuck Aaron, like over and over again, like multiple times in multiple different times in different scenarios. Just fuck Aaron, fuck bro, fuck man. It's like really taking TikTok by storm. So I think so the fans were just really hyper focused on on seeing the dynamic, and I think that's why public perception may have swayed a little bit as the votes continue to go on. And while certain couples, you all were consistently named one of America's top couples, but how, some other ones may have switched positions, so to speak.
Interesting. Wait, I wonder, was she saying that after Casa?
Mainly after Casa, when they y'all viewed the video, and then also at movie night, and then also with several one-on-ones. It's like multiple moments, but it's like the most hilarious thing ever.
Taylor.
And lastly, I'd love to know what's next for the both of you. You're just reacclimating to the real world, post Villa, and I'm assuming there's, it's a lot to take in, not only just like being back in the swing of things, but also being outside and like not in this contained environment. So, what does next look like for the both of you? And, what can we expect?
Yeah, I think like at first, at least for me, just getting my phone back and kind of coming to realizations about how like big this all is and how crazy it's been for all of us. Just being patient and like not putting too much pressure on anything, and like I want to see like how me and Kendall can do together. I think like this is the big test coming outside, like we always say that, and I'm just excited to like do things with him, like go to the movies, go to a restaurant, like all the stuff you don't get to do in the villa, and try and do as much as we can before the reunion, because it's not that much time.
Yeah, we're gonna film before the reunion, but again, just do life together how it is without like all the noise inside the villa and being in that close environment. Just being open with each other on the outside, getting to know each other's families, real life in person, and just taking it from there. But I'm excited.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you both so much for chatting with me. And again, just congrats on the season. Congrats on finding each other. And just thanks for like providing us with entertainment over the past few weeks and just showing up as your authentic selves. It really meant a lot to the fans. I think that's why fans are resonating with this season so much. And that's due in part to you. So thank you so much. And I hope you both enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.